FPL Game Week 10 transfer plans. Even though I've already been forced to make my 3 transfers because of price changes, in this video we're going to do a quick review at my Game Week 9. We're also going to do a transfer strategy looking at how I'm going to be moving forward, and also just discuss a couple of your questions that you might already have going into Game Week 10. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys. Now, as usual, everything that I do show you and go through is from the FPL Force app, which I am still working on for you guys and will be launching soon. So if you do want to have a heads up as to when that does launch, then scan the QR code below to get 50% off, as well as discover your FPL Force persona. So let's get into it, guys. Now, Game Week 9, cool, 41 points. Just a little bit below the actual average, which I believe is 45. Dropped by 300k points. It takes me back down. I say back because I was here before. Before previous this game week, before I was 4.1, I was like 4.5. But like, it's one of those green red arrows where I'm like, okay, I don't feel like it's that bad. Still not happy with the rank, of course, but when I look at my team, of course this is different. We'll get into the transfers that I have made. Spoiler alert, one of them is of course Mateta, which I think everybody has already moved to because of the price change. Yeah, the team didn't perform well at all, you know. The only return really was not even our captain. I think it was a Minte. I don't count like the Color Fury and Timber one. I mean, Color Fury is a bit of a differential, but everybody has 2 Arsenal, so to me I don't feel like he's differential. Just by ownership he's differential. Minte getting an assist. Other than that, like, I really, there's not much time to spend here because, yeah, was really hoping something from Liverpool, but geez, man, they figured out. They are all figured out, and that's honestly, like, just being on Virgil made me think about him. But the thing is, I don't want to spend a transfer to want to have to bring in a Liverpool pick when their fixtures turn around game week, is it 13 or 12? I think it's 12. That's why he's still with me, you know. For you guys who are screaming at the screen going, why is Virgil still there? Well, now you know. Yeah, I'm happy I have Enzo, I'm happy I have Semenyo, I'm happy I have Minte. You know, Gyökeres is about to get into a good fixture run, you know, and Haaland is Haaland, you know. João Pedro, of course, is the one, you know, didn't even waste time. Reinders on the bench along with Sa, of course, an obvious. Anderson, don't know much about him in terms of his injuries, but yeah, let us get into your guys's questions though about Game Week 10, more so your transfer thoughts than anything, because I think this is all wrapped up. So going and looking at the actual top scoring players for Game Week 9, looking at the top scores for Game Week 9, Van de Ven coming out with a 23 pointer. The defenders this season, honestly, yeah, Tottenham's fixtures do change now, so I would be moving away from them, in all honesty. They have like a good fixture one like every second fixture, so I would move away from the defensive picks. But if you're in the midfield, like you have a Kudus, if he can open up way for you for a Saar, or even maybe a Buemo or something, if you can upgrade to them, then yeah, sure, I think I'll make that move, of course, but I wouldn't stick with them basically. Aston Villa won against Man City. Matty Cash with the 15 pointer. I don't think anything much to discuss there. It's one of those freak, if you ask me, incidences, but well done to them. Really happy, of course, as a gunner being at the top of the table. In Buemo, I think the discussion really now around Buemo becomes who is a better asset between Buemo and Bruno. in all my opinion, I think if you're looking long term, I do believe Bruno is a better asset considering he has more routes to points. Mbuemo's going to come up and around with these type of game weeks where he'll have that 15 pointer, he'll have that maybe even 18 points sometimes. And Bruno, I think, will just tick along for you. So if you're looking for a set and forget in that sense at 9 million, then Bruno's the guy. If you're looking for a hop on and hop off, then Mbuemo's definitely the type of guy that you should be bringing in and moving to as well, who's cheaper than Bruno. So if you're moving to Man United assets right now, who do you go with? I personally would go with Mbuemo, considering the being also a bit of a differential. A lot of people are moving towards him right now as well, but you can see there as well his ownership 19%, 19.4%. So yeah, I would make that move. Casemiro, again, one of those freak things. Fleming, freak things. Rodon, great assets in terms of 4.5. Really sad for those who didn't have him starting, or those who were kind of hoping Gabriel wouldn't play so that he could come on from their bench as well. Nothing much to speak about Tavernier and Dango. Eze coming through with an 11 pointer. I think he gives me a nice segue to really talk about Saka's substitution as well. He was substituted off because of an illness. Now, I think Saka's like our egg in the sense that if there is an issue, we will take him off. You know, if there's no issue and I think we're chasing the game, then we'll push him as much as we can. And I think that goes into the conversation of Gyökeres or Saka. At this point, guys, it's hard to say again because they're both not actually really producing. Take away penalties. Literally, take away the penalties. These guys are not scoring, you know? And Arsenal defense is a lot more valuable right now. Gives you much more value for money to go for than anything. So I think triple defense is the way to go for. And I think, you know, that's jumping all the way to number 15 at Gabriel, who got 9 points just from the defense. I mean, you look at that, you're expecting the 9 points from a Gyökeres or even the Saka, but you got it from your defender. Honestly, I wouldn't blame people going for triple defense. I think it is really viable. I have thought about it, but I just thought to myself, give Gyökeres the chance again. I think this is the Arsenal in me. For the Burnley game, Sunderland game, I think will be tough for them. But then in the back of my head, I also always think to myself, and I always remember that the time in January when Arsenal just started going on the scoring spree, and like everybody was getting goals in the team. I always feel like when Arsenal do start to just start scoring a lot of goals, the goals definitely, I believe, will still be spread, and you sort of want a piece of that. But right now it's like these guys are just focused on making nobody score, you know. And when teams go up against them because of the way and the style they play, you know, Gyökeres doesn't have space in running in behind, and when he does, he gets cornered off, and like Saka comes in to try and make those shots, but bro, teams are really putting in a good block in them, you know. So I say good in the sense of not necessarily giving them the chances to actually score a lot of goals. So it honestly is starting to look like the defense is better value in anything with Arsenal assets. So yeah, I would definitely go triple defense there. Still looking at the top 20. Pedro Porro, nothing to discuss. Szoboszlai, Liverpool. I think let's discuss Liverpool, because Liverpool going into Game Week 12, their fixtures look really it will turn your head type of good, you know. And this is why, again, I was saying I was still on Virgil van Dijk. Now, of course, right now we sort of turned off by the performances and stuff. We don't want, you know. But I think if you're looking to move to them or plan to move to them, then I think assets that are worth it is definitely a Cody Gakpo, even though he's not here. You know, I Dominic Soboslai will come away with his 10 pointers once in a while, but I just feel like Cody Gakpo is one to think of. Again, Ekitike for me, because the guy just scores, man. He comes and he gets a goal here and there, and Isak is just not reliable when it comes to minutes. And so is Ekitike, because they're the ones rotating, But I say Isak more in the sense that, injuries and stuff. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on terms of who's really going to be able to play more in the Premier League again. I say again because that's what I've been keeping an eye on, and it's really still been changing up and down. But even though Ekitike, when he does get his chance, bro, man, make sure. And so Gyökeres might be a guy who I do make that move from as well. But my point here is, in this topic, I think keep transfer plans open for them, because I think you will turn your head. And Liverpool being a strong team, and Arne Slot being a competent manager, I think they can figure out their way to get out of this rut that they're in, basically. Cool. Looking at the top 20 here, I don't think there's anybody else really to discuss. I think let's go to the team selection for game week 10, basically, just to show you what my team looks like and the transfers that I've also already made. Cool. So this would be the command center, where we're gonna go and look at our team. So oh man, I don't know why it hasn't loaded my team, but let me just make that change. Right, there we go. That is the powers of the FPL Force. So once you wield the actual FPL Force, you learn how to do this. Anyway, cool, let's get into this. So first transfer I made was to actually take out Reinders, who was dropping, and I took him down to a Miley, Lewis Miley over here. That really freed up. It was really an exchange of funds. So him being 5.6, I was able to get a Munoz in the defense, who I have there. So I took out Anderson, who was injured. We didn't know anything about, and I said, okay, cool, I'll take you out. I'd rather still keep Van Dijk for the future. And then I also freed up a bit of cash, or at the time, actually, I still had the exact money to do that cash from João Pedro to a Mateta, because I had 0.1 in the bank extra. So then I made that move, and that gave me Mateta. So basically 3 transfers in: Munoz, Mateta, and Lewis Miley from Newcastle, who also have a good run, and 3 transfers out, which was Anderson, who was injured, Reinders, who was dropping in price, and Mateta, who was and João Pedro, who was just in absolute bad form. So going into game week 10, my team selection is Pope and goal, and then I'm gonna have a Timber and Calafiori along with Munoz in the back there, playing against Brentford. And then I am going to have Sarr in the midfield with Enzo against Tottenham. Very much okay with that. And then I'm gonna have a Minte along with Semenyo as well against Man City. I'm alright with that, because I know Bournemouth can do really well in transition play, so I think they can catch Man City basically on the break. And then of course Gyökeres in the front line with Mateta, and Haaland with the captaincy. On the bench, happy to have Virgil, even though it's at home against Aston Villa. We did really well against Man City. Senesi against Man City on the bench, and then Lewis Miley as well on the bench there. Of course, Dubravka as well on the bench. So going into game week 10, I think that team is good. I'm happy with the picks all round. I really don't have an issue with that. It's moving forward, in all honesty, now, which I think is the best. The best thing to talk about, which is what is my transfer strategy going forward. So I think for me, looking forward, it's just leaving, having left that room open really to be able to make moves whatever player actually starts to turn heads. For example, none of us were necessarily all that thinking of bringing in Mbuemo. If anything, they were probably looking at a Bruno or not even Man United assets. In all honesty, I think I'm in a place where a lot of people want to move to an Enzo, a lot of people want to move to a Sa, a lot of people want to move to a Munoz. So I'm happy that I'm able to get into this team and this formation and these assets. It's really being able to now move to Liverpool, because I do feel like they'll be able to turn it around, and maybe not in this game week with, when you look at them, they've got Aston Villa, and then they have Man City, and then they're going to have a West Ham, a Sunderland, which will be a bit of a tough game. At least they're at home, and then they're going to have a Leeds away as well. So, but they'll start off, of course, at home with Nottingham Forest. Sorry, not to skip that. Not really being a tough fixture. So, I think, like I said, these fixtures really turn your heads. I think definitely those two. Like I said, this is tough. We can't be targeting Sunderland anymore. So I think maybe not necessarily defensively, but having Virgil already, I'm happy to keep them. It's really starting to look at who to have in the attack. So when we move to game week 11, and we look at the team, so we can see now we'll have Pope there against Brentford. We'll have Timber against Sunderland, Munoz against Brighton at home. Happy with Calafiori there as well. Mente against Crystal Palace. I mean, Smiley wouldn't play. He does play now and then, but I would still have Mente there, in all honesty, being my differential. Saw happy against Brighton, Enzo against Wolves, Semenyo against Aston Villa, Mateta against Brighton at home, with Gyökeres against Sunderland, and Haaland against Liverpool. Now, this is a game week. A lot of people game week. Is it game week 12? Game week 13. Sorry, why is it moving? No, it's game week 11. Game week 11. Sorry, when people are looking to also wild cards so that they, don't have Haaland and Salah playing against each other. For me, I'm happy. I think the team looks good. There's nothing to wild card out of or anything like that. I think a debate here maybe might be Pope against against Dubravka, who's playing West Ham, and Brentford is very good at home. I'll think about that. West Ham as well is also good away rather than being at home, but it's also Burnley, so Pope is much better. So I'd say might be a debate, but happy with the team, honestly. Like this, it's now more when things change and we go into game week 12. Now we have Liverpool up against, and you can see I've changed things a bit there now. So Senesi comes in, and in the defense now I've got Dubravka instead of Pope, because Pope is playing Man City even though he's at home. Now I could make that change because we know Pope is very good for save points, as well as maybe some bonus, of course, more better than other keepers like Raya. So that could be a change. Another change that could be in the defense with Timber at home, with Munoz against Wolves and Senesi against West Ham looking really good, in all honesty. We still have Virgil there on the bench, who has Nottingham Forest. Now I've put him there purposefully in this game week 12 because, again, right now as it stands, that's what it would be. But if they turn things around, then of course I would be looking to bring him in. But then let's go into the midfield and see where would he even fit in, right? We would have Brentford, Minte against Brentford, Sa against Wolves, Enzo against Burnley, of course, and then Semenyo against West Ham. Not moving any of those guys, they look really good. Gyökeres is there against Tottenham, and Haaland against Newcastle and Mateta. Now I think this is one of the weeks where you could go against Haaland's captaincy here. If Mateta is really looking all that good, probably even put it on him. Semenyo's another option as well. So looking at all of these, based on form, current form, I think it is I could even swap Calafiori for a Gyökeres or even a Virgil van Dijk for a Gyökeres, but at this point I should have 2 free transfers. I think, yeah, 2 free transfers. I should have 0.0 in the bank by then. Yeah, I could look to get an Ekitike if that was really an option that I really wanted to do. If I go to Liverpool here, if I go to Liverpool here and I go to forwards, yeah, and I go to forwards, Ekitike in price, let's just see, I think he's 8.5. I think he's 8.5. Yeah, 8.6. So Gyökeres could make that move if his performance is still the same, because the fixtures do, I won't say turn, but they're not necessarily all that great. This is still showing, there we go. There's Tottenham, then there's Chelsea, you know, so those 2 fixtures are going to be tricky, not tough, but tricky. But I mean, if he's not scoring against those guys, I don't see him scoring against them, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would sacrifice Gyökeres here, and then bring in Ekitike. Now another transfer I could make is bringing in Gakpo, because I would have 2 free transfers, so I could I think I could, how could I do a Gakpo? I did the transfer before, because Gakpo, if I look at him, so sorry about that, guys. Gakpo is 7.6. Yeah, Gakpo is 7.6. So I could make some substitute moves. Like I could do a Munoz. I could do a Munoz to somebody else. I could do Munoz down to a 4.4 or something else and then upgrade. I don't know. Right now it's just looking like an Ekitike, to be honest. Haven't really figured it out. I don't want to figure it out too much here because I don't want to go on babbling. But yeah, I think the team's looking fine going forward, as it is as well. I think if anything, it's just monitoring Gyökeres' performance, and if he's scoring goals, then I think I'll keep him in, you know, playing at home. If he's not scoring goals, then I could bring in one of these guys from there, or a Liverpool asset if they turn things around. But I think that's the whole point with the strategy. I'm very happy having the players a lot of people want to get to and who are also somewhat differentials. If we just go back to game week 10 to look at the team as to how it is, and I think that's also part of the strategy as well, is someone having a bit of those differentials, like Pope being 12%, Munoz 14%, Sa, Mente and Enzo 15, 9 and 4%. Mateta's going to change, I think, by the end of the game week. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not counting 6. But if you want to 6, if he scores a goal or something like that, and you know, that's almost happened before. But that's 5 to 6, you know, that's almost half my team. So I think I'm in a position where I can definitely change things around for my rank. Yeah, I can definitely change things around for my rank. So yeah, speaking about rank, this is the part of the show where I also want to go through the FPL Masters League. So if we go there, you can actually check out all your actual leagues here. So I'm only in a few leagues. I like to just focus on a couple of leagues. So yeah, let's just shout out the top 10. It's also in, should we enlarge this? No, I think this is fine as it is. So top 10 here, I just show it like that. Yeah, I think this is fine. Cool. So top 10 here so far. FPL Masters at number 1, stay ready. He's just hit 600 points. Is that like yeah, no dude, yeah, no, you're killing it, you're killing it. Didn't have the best of game weeks himself as well, with 41 points, but still at the top there, just 4 points ahead of Yu-Gi-Oh, who I believe has climbed up. I think things have changed a bit in the top 5, with him coming up as well, but really good as well despite having a bad game week. Yaspik's photography climbing up, honestly climbing up, not even playing, dog, not even playing. Well done, dog, well done. And then the Temperature Sea sailing a bit behind, even though having a bit of a good game week with 51 points. I say a bit of a good game week because we know the average is 45. Then Glockerez climbing up to number 5 there, jumping into the top 5 with 60 points. That's really good. Didn't even use a chip as well, so that's really good. Also, that's where it starts to break up a bit there with almost like just under 20 points. So the top 4 is really close together. And then you have at number 6 Stingers FC from last year. I do remember you as well there, bud. Took a chance there on a sucker captain. Wow, captaincy was different, eh? And you know what? I think it just shows like it just didn't work. Like it didn't matter who the second captain was. They all just blanked, bro. They all just blanked. And I think it was worth it, if you ask me. I really think it was worth it for you to go for a different captaincy. So even though it didn't work out, like it, guys, it is what it is. Yeah, so Zubidoo coming in up as well. Chu Wei Chi and Wei Chi Chu, are you guys brothers? Please let me know in the comment section, because last season as well, I saw your guys' names, different names, but they're the same backwards in somewhat way, right? So Wei Chi Chu, let me know. Chu Wei Chi, let me know. I'm so curious, in all honesty. I'm very curious. Yeah, and then yeah, Zubidoo and at number 7 at 72 whopping points with a bench boost. Like, well done, my man. Honestly, Vice Captain Calafiori should have just captained him, eh? Should have just captained him. And then Vert's case scenario, which it wasn't for him at 63 points, did really good as well. Well done jumping in there into the top 10. Then Football 11, well done with 60 points coming in there with the bench boost as well. I think that's good. And I'm not even looking at the bench boost. I just think going in at 60 points and the average points is 45. I think, guys, you did all right. You know, you did all right. You did good. Omicron United, capping it off there at the top 10 with 66 points. So also really good. Not going below than the top from the top 10, but that is it. If you want a top 10 shout out, you have to be in the top 10. So yeah, I know this one was a bit of a long one, had a couple of things to chat about. Just wanted to cover a lot of things before we hold on until we get the transfer targets video, where we'll go through all the positions and who are the best actual transfers. So yeah, Carabao Cup in this midweek. Keep a look. Try not to make early transfers like me. Not really happy, but I had to. Otherwise I would have been priced out and I wouldn't be in the position that I am, which I'm really happy. Nonetheless, guys, love this, love you guys. Please keep well, keep healthy. Don't let FPL affect you too much emotionally. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.